They just implemented a 45-day Bandaid. As I told you guys, I didn't think on October 1st that they were going to shut it down, but they put a 45-day Bandaid on, and we are heading towards a cliff in America. My name is Coach JB. What I work to do is to make complex macro and microeconomic strategies and make it very simple so you can put it into your normal everyday life. Remember, in the beginning is the end. And in the end, you'll find out it's in the beginning. You need to stop waiting for a savior and realize you've already been saved. Your decisions today, your actions today, and being able to control your emotions can radically transform your family's timeline. First of all, I want to say thank you to all the amazing people that I met at the event. I apologize. Some of you guys I got messages from that I wasn't able to meet. I met hundreds of amazing human beings. We also have events through our own academy throughout all next year. One will be in April, mid-year, and then we have our retreat every single year. So I'd love to meet you guys very soon. A couple reminders out there. So we have our free resource that we've helped over, man, we're coming up on 13,000 people have downloaded this book with 5-star reviews. It's absolutely free resource. There's no hoops you have to jump through. It's my 16-page guide on how I went from completely broke on my parents' couch to financial freedom and focused on the 5 pillars of wealth, understanding how the 1% operate. There is no get rich quick. It's in the description of this YouTube or in TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram. Click my bio. You will get this. You can also set up a free consultation with one of my licensed insurance agents to help you with tax-free retirement, how we secure, compound, and grow our wealth like the wealthy do. Tier 1 capital, one of the most secure ways to secure, compound, and grow. So if you're just starting out your investment journey, or you're worried about your 401k, or you're wondering what to do with your amazing crypto profits next year, and so you don't go broke like 99% of people that'll get rich in crypto, we can help you with a free conversation, which is in the same descriptions of these videos and in social media. And if you're ready to jump right in, join 7,000 Warriors in my Warrior Academy, and we teach you our 120-day challenge to get your shit together. All right, so let's dive right into this. Man, let's look at the U.S. debt clock. Everybody's going crazy over this thing right now. Very important to understand that we are heading towards a cliff. We're at 33 trillion in national debt, and they extended the government shutdown for 45 days, guys. We are teetering on a cliff, family. And if you see on the debt clock, they've added all these things over here to the right: oil to solar ratio. They got the dollar to silver. That's always been there. We had dollar to gold. They added crypto on here. They added BRICS on there, G7 on there. Now, this is debtclock.org. I don't think this is this is just the debt clock. Somebody created this. But it's important to understand, you can watch this, guys. The money supply is going down. The debt is going up. So how, as we go through this, how does this affect you personally? Now, I'll be traveling this week, so I'm going to do the best I can. I'll probably be doing a lot of stuff out of pocket, out of my hotel, so the quality of my videos won't be as good. But I want to make sure that I get you. It might just be off my phone, but I'll keep informing you guys throughout the week. So give me some grace as I travel throughout the week. So I want to share with you guys somebody who is a great mentor of mine is Ray Dalio. I spend hours and hours researching his book, The Changing World Order, The Big Debt Crisis, and how my logical circuit works. So I study very deep in history, not only financially, but spiritually and family. We are in biblical times right now. We are in Roman day times right now. The great America is on the verge of collapsing, but the financial system as a large is on the verge of a great reset. But here's the thing. I believe in God. God is my guide, okay? One of the biggest things I follow is the life of Jesus. And Jesus told me, in the beginning is the end. And in the end, before death, you're going to find out it's in the beginning. It's your decisions, your actions, your behavior. There is no savior coming to save you. They perverted a lot of his teachings. You've already been saved. You can act, you can walk, you can talk, you can think, you can pick up your mat and walk right now. But the key is all the knowledge exists and it's hidden in plain sight. Make the path to the light difficult so the weak and weary will not follow. Your key is to suffer with purpose. All of you are suffering in some way, but the key is to find purpose in suffering. So as you transition into your new life of wealth, you have to work harder on yourself than you do anything else. And you have to understand how the system works. So we're going to watch this video. This is posted 4 days ago on Bridgewater Associates. And he's going to talk about the bond market. And I'm going to break down what this government shutdown a little bit deeper around what's happening. The bond market is in a dangerous position. Okay, that's how the government funds the government. They also borrow from other countries. We're buried in debt. Our credit score went down. We're at 33 trillion in debt. 30% of our debt's held outside the United States by Japan and China. Guys, this is your money. Every single dollar in this system is someone else's debt. There is no real money. So if you all get laid off from your job, there's no money running through the system. So who's going to benefit from this? The 1%. They always do. They're not doing the same thing that you're doing. They're not putting their money in a 401k. They're not hoping that they're going to retire. They're securing in tier one capital, gold, silver, real estate, businesses, and they're playing the markets and doing the opposite of what you do, exactly like we do.
On their bond holdings. And depending on how it's handled, it creates a financial problem. For example, in the UK, those losses by the Bank of England, which account for about 2% of GDP, then have to be funded. And so they go to the central government, and the budget has to, they have to fund the central bank, they have to go borrow the money. And as they go borrow the money, then that worsens the supply-demand balance. And so a very classic dynamic is, it happens all the time, is that the central banks themselves get into financial difficulty. Now we think, okay, central banks really can't get into financial difficulty, but yes, they do, because as those losses occur and the money has to come from somewhere, then they get into that need to print more and more, and it starts to accelerate.
Okay, so we're in a dangerous position. Remember, they shut off the money supply in America. China turned on their money supply. All the central banks are in a bad financial position. So they shut off the money supply, raised interest rates, destroying the middle class. They cool off the job markets, which makes people get laid off, and they try to cool inflation, right? So they're literally robbing Peter to pay Paul, back and forth, back and forth.
And you see this in many cases, often in emerging countries, but you saw it with the breakdown of the system in 71, the ERM realignment, and so on. So that becomes the dynamic in which you can't continue to create a lot of debt. Think about the Bank of Japan. The Bank of Japan has bought an enormous amount of bonds. Think about what those bonds are worth. So now the central bank is in a position. Do they tighten monetary policy? Can they continue to have those levels of borrowing? And do they tighten monetary policy? And if interest rates go up, there's a problem for the Bank of Japan. And this is, by the way, true for most central banks in varying degrees. So
what happened in America is the interest rates went up, the bond yield inverted, sucking liquidity out of the banks.
How that dynamic works. When there's the selling of bonds, and there is that inability by central banks to do anything else and print money to try to keep real interest rates low, which makes it a negative to hold those bonds. So other free market owners of those bonds want to sell them. You create that kind of a dynamic. And if they don't print the money and buy the bonds, then you have interest rates rise a lot. So the point is that debt is not good debt. And as a result, you get into that dynamic. I think we're in the early stages of the last stages, meaning that as we do projections of, let's say, over the next 5 years, and particularly over the next few years, the supply-demand issue will be probably bringing in central banks. I think the thing to watch now as the red flag would be, okay, central banks switching to quantitative easing again. I think that would be the red flag that'll go up.
Okay, so what you want to pay attention to is, as the economy gets smashed as we go into next year, when everybody loses their job and nobody can afford to live, if they start quantitative easing in, that's when you're going to start to see an absolute catastrophe, right? So, but there's a big transition in our financial system, on-demand liquidity, real-time payments. It'd be a great time to reset a system, right? So let's take a look a little bit deeper into the House defeats McCarthy's bill to avoid shutdown. So basically, on the last hour, they approved a 45-day extension for the government shutdown.
Bring in EJ Antoni, an economist and research fellow for regional economics at the Heritage Foundation, and Jack Borugian, chairman of the Global Smart Commodity Group. So, Jack, first to you. I mean, I was just looking the last time there was a big shutdown or a partial government shutdown was 2019. The market during the shutdown actually ended up 10%. So sometimes it may not be good or bad news, but sometimes it's actually good news.
But remember, David, that was a period where we actually saw the Fed actually with easy money and easy money policies. This is the first time we're actually seeing this type of shutdown being threatened when we're seeing the Fed draining the system. That's a headwind in and of itself. So let's see how this all plays out. And yeah, I'll say that. And of course, the bottom line is this needs to be done. You know, the reality is that debt is spiraling out of control, and either Congress does something or the bond market will do something.
Well, see, that's what they're saying. So the bond market will disrupt this whole system, guys. This system, they're literally walking on a tightrope right now. And to me, it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. I'm not a full economist. I don't understand that at that deep of level, but I can understand logical circuit, right? They're fucked. It's like somebody that's in a really bad position financially, and they're saying, look over here. All right, let's do over here. Let's get a credit card. Let's pay it's like a Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi, to me, it's the Ponzi scheme is up. Every single dollar in the system is someone else's debt. They can't keep the Ponzi scheme going. I don't know how. Maybe someone can comment down below if you're a professional economist. How can they keep this economy going? So look at the national debt and government bonds. So key takeaways of this I want to share with you guys. The U.S. Department of Treasury manages the government's expenditures and methods of raising revenues. The nation's national debt is total amount borrowed and owed by the governments as a result when the government's tax revenue is lower than its expenses. Okay, so basically our taxes are working to pay interest on the borrowing. Okay, the primary means by which the government takes on debt is by issuing government bonds to the public. U.S. Treasury bonds are considered one of the safest investments in the world. That's kind of scary. In September 2023, our debt went to 33 trillion of fake money. Basically, the debt ceiling is a total amount of the money in the U.S. Treasury is allowed to borrow. Okay, the money owed by the U.S. is higher than the debt ceiling. The federal government is in default on its debts. They keep raising the debt ceiling. They have to borrow from other countries. They have to create money out of thin air. So where do we go from here, family? Where do we go from here? Okay, so we're going to go a little bit deeper. They avoided the government shut down for 45 days. So what's going to happen in 45 days? Who knows?
Evening, I'm Jessica Moore. Just a short time ago, the Senate approved a bill to keep the government funded for 45 days. To get it passed, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy dropped his demands for steep spending cuts. The president is now expected to sign it. CBS 2's Michael George has the breaking details from Washington.
It's been a day full of twists and turns, but the American people can breathe a sigh of relief.
Shit.
There will be no government shutdown.
Late Saturday, the Senate voted to approve a 45-day federal spending plan. Earlier, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy crafted the measure and pushed it through despite opposition from hard-right Republican members of his own party.
The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
The last-ditch effort, which averts a government shutdown for now, funds federal agencies and provides money for millions of paychecks through mid-November.
On the House floor, we passed by overwhelming numbers the ability to keep government open for the next 6 weeks. I ask Congress will stay.
Just think about that for just a moment. This is the people controlling our, well, the Federal Reserve controls our monetary system. These are the people making decisions for your future, guys. Like, think about that for just a moment. Oh, they're proud of themselves because they're able to extend it for 45 days and put another Band-Aid on for 45 days. Our debt is at 33 trillion. There is no real money in the system. Your fiat money, your currency, your money in your bank is fake. Every single time you put 10 bucks in, they can lend $9 out to the next person coming in. That's why I love insurance. It's inverted, guys. Insurance is the tier 1 capital. It is the most secure. If insurance collapses, expect a zombie apocalypse, guys. Think about that for just a moment. It's flip-flopped, right? You put 10 bucks in, they have to hold 9 bucks and lend out $1. That's why wealthy people insure their wealth. This is very, very important to understand, family. Listen, I believe in my own paradigm that humanity has been inverted and tricked. Okay, we're all waiting for a savior when we've already been saved. Jesus was teaching us we're already been saved, guys. Think about that. The first 14 years, he was spitting fire in the synagogues. They didn't kill him then. Then he was gone for 18 years and he comes back, and a year later they kill him right after he's flipping over the money changers and telling people that they are healed, that they are powerful, that they are strong, that they are worthy. Like, think about that for just a moment. A year after he came back from this mysterious 18 years he was gone, maybe you should go into Origin and study what the teachings were about. Think about that for just a moment. Why do you think he said to get in the kingdom of heaven is to be like these lowly children? To get into your creative state of mind, to expand consciousness, not to repeat cycles. But you're trusting these people that are sitting in the suits and sitting in the robes that are telling you how to live your life, and that you have to go outside and some invisible enemy is going to save you, and that you have to pray to some guy in a box or preach to some person in a box. And, what does that mean, guys? What does that mean? Like, what if you took control of your thoughts? What if you control your actions? What if you took control of your emotions? And what if you started to understand and study origin of everything? That's why I don't respond to hate comments, guys, because most of the people spitting doctrine at me or putting hate comments, they don't even understand the origin of what they're expressing. They're just repeating doctrine that's been put into their minds. That's all. They're just repeating information. The Bible is one of the greatest books ever read, but you have to read it with discernment. There's so many other doctrines out there. There's so many doctrines out there that if you really dive into the origins and the teachings and understand that we are all one, we are all come from source, we all come from God. And the biggest trick played on humanity is that I'm greater than you because I'm a certain religion, or I'm greater than you because I have more coins. That is not true. There's no man or woman greater than the other. Some are in a different awakening process, but it doesn't make them greater than the other. And these leaders, these people in these structures, these people that we trust in these beautiful homes and these big pillared places that we go to, we idolize them and hope that they will save us when there's no savior coming. Guys, we're 33 trillion in debt. When are you going to take sovereignty of your own wealth? The key is financial education. Learn how to manage your own money. Learn how to manage your own household. Stop waiting for a savior and know that you've already been saved. Take action, be disciplined, be consistent, suffer with purpose, because you're going to suffer either way. But I'm telling you, family, the freight train has left the building. It is coming, and you're going to get ran over by it, or everybody's going to have to get on it at some point. You can get on board and go for the ride of your life, or get ran over by it. Everybody has to get on this train at some point. So the question is, what are you going to do? Right when you get off this video, you can take action. You can take action. We're not supposed to repeat consciousness. We're supposed to expand consciousness. You are powerful. You are strong. You are worthy. You are worth it. And all the things that you've experienced up until this point was meant for you to transmute that darkness into light. We don't come here for an easy life. We come here for a life worth living. We don't come here for joy and happiness. We come here to suffer with purpose. But when you suffer with purpose, you live heaven on earth. You heave up. So this is your time, family. This is your time. And what are you going to do with it? Warriors, let's get your shit together. Love you guys.